The first day I got to the room, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I was just sitting quietly, just looking around. And the place was full of insects.
Hi, if you're a young teacher posted to a rural area, what would be your expectation? What are the main basic things that you would want to be in place? Today's video looks at everything that has happened since I got into contact with Abigail, a teacher in the northern region of Ghana, and the incredible support that donors have given, and most importantly, the renovation of the teachers' accommodation. Let's watch. As you all know, this channel is all about giving back to Africa and in the areas of health and education. I got into contact with Abigail about 8 to 9 months ago when she had just started as a newly qualified teacher at Nambiri. So we're just going to have a conversation about her work so far at the school, since she started working as a teacher, what has happened so far and any changes that has happened and what she looks forward to in the following year. So Abigail, welcome back again to the channel.
Thank you.
You've been there since February this year as a newly qualified teacher. I don't know even how you got this. Did you get a letter that you are being posted to this area? How did it start?
On the 21st of January 2022, we were posted to Nambiri in the northern region. But then I started my teaching profession on February 9th, 2022. That was this year, about 11 months ago.
Okay.
And before going to the north, the expectation was not that good because we will face some challenges such as language barrier. You don't understand their language, they don't understand yours. Number two, teaching was somehow very difficult because teaching learning resources was inadequate. So the expectation somehow was not all that good.
Okay.
Because of knowing that going to the north is full of deprived communities. Yeah.
Okay. So which means that you were expecting that, you won't get everything that you needed to do your job. Is that what you're saying? You were expecting that there will be challenges.
Yes.
Okay, so you were prepared for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that spirit. So since you've been there, it's 11 months since you've been working as a teacher there. What has your experience been? I mean, in terms of, there's so many things I wanted to find out, when you talk about, teaching itself, the job of teaching, the learning resources, the equipment, any innovation that I know you started the girls club and things like accommodation and life in general in a rural area. How has your experience been so far?
Life itself is full of experiences. Yeah. For instance, when I got there, I noticed that because these children were only taught by male teachers, I learned I'm the female teacher to be posted there. They used to call me sir instead of madam.
Okay.
So you have to teach them that a male teacher is called sir and a female teacher is called madam. Now I know that if they mention something wrongly and you correct them, they're able to pronounce the right thing.
Yeah. So the language barrier, because I've often wondered, of course, the language used for teaching is English. And I suspect that not many children will be able to speak English. So what language do they speak there? And how did you manage to communicate for those who can't speak English?
Okay. In Nambiri, they speak Chakosi.
Okay.
Which is more like tree.
Oh.
So it's more like tree. But then I would say it's slanted tree.
Wow, I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, it's slanted tree. That is how I call it, because some of the words they do pronounce is similar to our tree language.
Okay.
So when I say something in English language and they don't understand, I have my phone, I'll just go online. If something like a picture, just to show to them, oh, okay, madam is trying to talk about this, then they will get it. And another way there is this particular girl in my class, she won't understand tree very well. I will just say something, then she will explain it to them in their local language.
Okay.
But then some of them are very sharp.
Okay.
Very, very sharp. When I say something in English language, they will just decode whatever I want to say. And they will explain it exactly how I want to say it. So this is how I do communicate with my children in the classroom.
That is really, that's interesting. And I'm sure by now you've learned some of the language.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be fluent in no time. Talking about resources, I know we've had conversations about that. And so tell us about the magnitude of, lack of resources or teaching materials.
We recently received learning materials, but then still teaching learning materials it's inadequate. From God is love.
Oh, okay, not from the education service. Okay.
For instance, if you want to teach a subject like mathematics, topic addition, you need materials such as abacus for them to understand the concepts well. But then these materials are not there for us to teach, like to flow how you want the children to understand. These materials are not there for you to explain things how you want them to understand. So still, these learning materials are inadequate.
Obviously, you received 50 desks from, a donor.
Good.
How is the situation with the desk and, people still sitting under the tree?
For those under the tree, they used to sit on trunks.
Yeah.
Now it's no more. They are sitting on the desks. And for those of us, so the desks were shared from class 1 to class 6.
Okay.
It's left with those of us in KG1 and KG2. We are still sitting on the floor.
Okay. And in terms of the girls' club that you started, tell us a bit about how, what you wanted it to achieve and how it's going so far.
Before I got to Nambiri, the information I had was JHS students, especially the girls, normally get pregnant. So that's motivated me to start up the girls' club. So when I went, some had already completed, but my first batch completed this year. And I can boldly say none of them got pregnant.
Wow.
Due to some of the things I've been teaching them in the girls' club. So when we meet, we talk about self-esteem, traumas ladies go through whilst growing up.
Yeah.
And as a lady, you shouldn't limit yourself. So when I complete JHS or SHS, I have to go and marry. You shouldn't limit yourself. You have to climb to higher altitude. So these are some of the things we talk about in the girls' club.
Yeah. So, from everything you've told me, it seems that, since you went there in February, there's been some changes and some improvement. It's not 100%, but, there's been some improvement, and hopefully, it will carry on like that. But can you tell us about the accommodation? When you were coming, what was your expectation? And when you came, how was it for you and your fellow, your colleague teachers?
When the posting letter came, I find ways and means to call my head teacher. So I got his number. Then I called him. He said, "Oh, there is accommodation. Madam, please come." So we set off and we got there. Before we realized that the building was not in a good shape, so we had to move to the CHIPS compound. That was where I stayed for first term. But before first term ended, they gave me a notice that I have to leave the CHIPS compound because they are also they've also gotten a new nurse who is coming to occupy wherever I'm staying.
Can you explain the CHIPS compound, because not many people understand what it is?
It's the community health center. the
Okay.
small hospital they have in the community. Yeah.
Okay.
In the facility there, they have accommodation. And
For
there
the
were
rest
some
of-
rooms there. That was where I was staying. So before the first term ended, I was given a notice that I have to move out of the room because a lady nurse is coming to occupy wherever I was staying. So I came home not knowing where I'll go and stay when second term begins. Then the head teacher and the chief of the community started asking the district officers and the district officers for some help to renovate the quarters, because when I got there, 2 teachers were occupying a room in the chief's palace. So where will I stay? Because the community is not like you can go and rent a house and stay there. They were able to do some parts, but then it was not all that okay. But then as a teacher, you have to go and occupy that place. Even though it was not in a good shape, they had to go there. The first day I got the room, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I was just sitting quietly, just looking around. And the place was full of insects.
Yeah.
Because the room was not painted. It was full of insects and mosquitoes. It was no good. It's a bad experience. It was no good.
Now the place is renovated, and thanks to Ghana School Aid UK, who saw the pictures and decided to give you a grant to do that. So how, I know that the whole thing, the community was involved. So how did it proceed? The whole renovation process.
When I got the money in my account, I first informed my head teacher. Then he came, then went to the chief, that is the regent of the community, to inform him that this is what has come for us to renovate the quarters. So we first started by asking the electrician to bring his budget for wiring. He brought his budget, we paid him, and he started his work. Then the painter also came into the picture, brought his budget, we paid him off, then he started painting. So whilst the electrician was working, the painter was working as well. Then when the electrician finished, the carpenter came in to fix the roof, the ceiling, and did some patches on the roof. And where the roofing sheets were no good, he replaced them. Then he replaced some of the facial boards, which were spoiled. Then some of the doors. Then when you go to the windows, some of the woods were rotten. He did some changes there. Then after that, we floored the house. That was when the community came into the picture. They brought some sand and they offered to do the flooring for us.
I could sense the community spirit, all these women coming with carrying the sand on their head, and it's something that we need to cherish in communities, and it was nice to see. There were 2 of you in the house before the renovation works. So are the other teachers back?
For now, we are 4. So 2 have moved in, making 4. Yeah, making 4. And now we are enjoying our stay. It's somehow good. Yeah, we are enjoying our stay very well.
Yeah, as
not like how we came and went to the place. Yes, we are now enjoying our cool accommodation. Yes.
Yeah, and as one of your colleagues said that, and the chief as well, who sent his heartfelt thanks. So it's nice to see. And I am so glad that at least this accommodation has been renovated after a hard day's work, and you are coming back home, you know that you are coming to a decent place. It's really nice to see the progress so far. So what are you looking forward to in the coming year?
We have a whole lot of expectations, right?
Yeah.
But then as a teacher, what I'm looking forward to is for my children, those I'm teaching, to improve more on how, even though they are improving,
Yeah.
I am looking forward to them to improve more in their academics.
If you had one wish, as a teacher who is teaching in a rural school, what would your wish be?
Okay. The number one wish is the teaching learning materials. We are in need of it. Yes, that is my major wish. And another wish is to see my children improving the more. They will still focus on their education and move to the higher altitude. Yes, that is my wish.
Yeah, I wish you well with the the girls club and mentoring and being a role model for them. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
In fact, right now we are very happy. I must admit that we are very happy because right now when school resumes and you are coming to Nambiri, you know that after teaching you have a good place to lay your head.